Peace, 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 family, peace. Tonight is not a truth to power talk with your sister, Dr. Maat. No truth to power talk here. I'm having a build with my brother, Baba Amin. So this is a build tonight, family.
That's right.
And
We're gonna speak a little truth to power, though.
yeah, we're gonna speak some truth to power. But you know, Bob, and I said this offline. I said I need to bring you on for an official interview because I've been looking at you over the years, the work that you did in Texas. I know that you're doing work. I think you said you relocated to South Carolina.
Yes.
And so you had an academy, the UHURU, I always butcher that, UHURU, the Freedom Academy right there in Texas. Then
Right.
you relocated to South Carolina. So I know you're doing your thing down there. And so I really want to bring you on for an official Truth to Power Talk interview where we talk about your academy and we talk about the importance of educating our babies and the effectiveness of African-centered pedagogy.
Oh man, I'd love to do that.
Yes.
I can't wait. It's been a powerful journey, an instructive journey. And so I can't wait any opportunity to talk about it and what we've learned over the past 10 years. We just finished our 10th full year with the UHURU Academy. Anything that we've learned over the past 10 years, I can't wait to share.
Let's do it.
Because it's definitely been an experience.
So brother, I need to inbox you because you and I communicate a lot via inbox. I'll inbox you. And right now I'm booking people for August. So hopefully you look at your calendar. I look at my calendar and we put something together in August. I would love for you to come on out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
African-centered education.
Absolutely. I had brother Marcus Klein on last year to talk about the Freedom Academy that he has in Chicago. And so he said a lot of stuff too. He talked about, he said, look, what kind of children are we trying to raise, you know? And, you know, he said a lot of us are raising mediocre children. And let's just tell the truth. A lot of us are raising mediocre children. And so we talked about that. But I definitely have to bring you on. Family, share this build. This evening, I have Baba Amin in the house. And tonight we are going to talk about the blasphemous use of the RBG colors. So you might say, well, Dr. Maat, what are you talking about here? What are you and Baba Amin talking about? Well, this is what we're talking about, family. This past weekend, you know that they made Juneteenth a federal holiday, even though we never needed white folks to validate any of the things that we do. But, you know, the Juneteenth celebrations, they were Juneteenth. Once Biden signed the, I guess the federal document or whatever, mandating Juneteenth as a federal holiday, Juneteenth celebrations erupted across the country, literally. And what I noticed, Baba, I mean, was that they were plastering the RBG flag. I mean, more than ever. I saw it. I saw look, Baba, I saw the RBG flag in commercials.
Man, I ain't seen this much RBG since X-Clan had a hit. You know what I'm saying? It's been everywhere.
Exactly. So they're waving the RBG flag. The RBG colors are now in commercials down in Annapolis in Annapolis, which is the capital of Maryland. They had a big Juneteenth festival with waving the Maryland flag and the RBG flag. And so folks like us, you know, we were hot when we saw this. And so I went to Facebook and I said, let me see what Baba Amin over there talking about. Because I know this brother is going to talk about this. And sure enough, I came across your post. And you seem to be very, very disturbed with what you saw. So Baba Amin, please expound on what you saw. What did you think?
Well, you know, I'm gonna preface it with this, right? I love seeing the red, black, and green flag everywhere. I love seeing it, right? But the part that disturbs me is understanding and knowing that the history of that flag is not built into the curriculum. That's not included in the story. The narrative with those colors are not included in the story. It's just like them just black people colors, right? And you got some folk who know. For example, shout out to the Juneteenth committee in South Carolina where I was able to speak, Brother Jamal. You know, they understand and they're actually allies with those of us who are organizing on the ground around nationalism, around us learning our story, around African-centered education and that sort of thing. So that's not what I'm talking about. But when you start talking about the commercial use, like when I see ABC is doing a special and they got a picture of the United States, and it's painted red, black, and green, and it's united we stand, and all. And wait, hold on. Hold on. You won't. If somebody came to ABC with a pitch for a show about Marcus Garvey, they'll slam the door in your face. You know what I'm saying? If you want to teach something about Black nationalism or Pan-Africanism or global African sovereignty, they won't promote that on the news. They don't support that. And that's what those colors stand for, right? And so it's just looking at that and witnessing a watering down of our story.
Come
right
on.
before our eyes. So it's like, we're gonna allow y'all to do this Juneteenth, but what we're gonna absorb this right here and redefine what freedom is for you. We're gonna redefine that and package it in here like that. So those of us who understand what those colors mean, we're like, well, hold on. Okay, you're gonna use them, but we about to tell people what they mean. So that's why on my post, I'm like, go ahead, put it up there. But do you know you shouting out to Black nationalism?
Yeah.
That's a shout out to global African sovereignty.
Come on, Baba.
That's that Black stuff. How we say, don't be too Black, don't get into that. But that's that Black.
That's
stuff.
that Black stuff.
That's Black stuff.
So now, like,
have a flag, Doc. They can't just have a flag like that.
Exactly. And in your post, you were like, hold up, wait a minute. You said that the people need to know that the RBG flags, the red, black, and green flag, these aren't African-American integrationist colors.
No,
these colors are about sovereignty, liberation, freedom, full and complete freedom. We're not trying to integrate and assimilate to your culture. That's not what that's about. This is about freedom. And so, but you know what, Bob, what's sad is a lot of our people did not know what those colors meant. They didn't know who created them, why it was created. And so let's get into that history, Baba. I mean, for some people who are viewing this and they're like, what is Dr. Maat and brother? I mean, what are they talking about? The RBG flag. Let's talk about the history of that flag. Let's get into Marcus Garvey and UNIA and why they created the flag. So let's talk about it, Baba. I mean,
well, okay. So the RBG flag, it is the flag. That flag was created by Marcus Garvey and Amy Jacques Garvey and the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, back in 1920, August 13th, 1920, right? And it wasn't just them sitting down saying, what's our colors? What's our colors? No. This flag was created at the conference, at the association, what's it called? The Declaration of the Rights of the Negro Peoples of the World. This flag was a part of a document. This flag was a part of a document called the Declaration of the Rights of the Negro Peoples of the World. Just like you put the red, white, and blue with the Declaration of Independence, you put the red, black, and green with the Declaration of the Rights of the Negro in the world. So this was a flag. This flag is a symbol of freedom for African people all over the world. That's why it was created 100 years ago, right? Matter of fact, if you look at a map of Africa and the flags of Africa, right? A lot of African countries, when they gained their independence from colonialism, adopted red, black, and green in their flags as a direct influence from Marcus Garvey and Amy Jacques Garvey. I have to mention the wife as well.
That's right.
From Universal Negro, the UNIA and African Communities League, from their work without the internet, millions of followers, without YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And so this was a message that was resonating with millions of Black people all over the world. And that's been erased from history. So then it pops up now. But it's popping up now because you know what they saw in those BLM protests and what they've been seeing over the past few years. They've been seeing the brothers and sisters in the streets marching with the flag. And so now that they've seen the brothers and sisters in the streets marching with the flag, okay, that flag is still a beacon, but you know what? Let's use it. Let's use it to bring them over here, but let's hide the meaning behind that flag. But that's our job. No problem, enemy. That's our job to make sure our people understand the real meaning. So if you still got a white Jesus, nobody who created that flag had a white Jesus.
Come on.
I'm just letting you know that. All right. If you still an integrationist and holding hands, no, the people who created that flag said we are only going to hold y'all hands when we learn how to hold our hand. Period. That's what the people who created that flag. And then people who created that flag said separation is key. They said we need a nation of our own. We need governance. They said Africa for the
Africans.
So when you wave that flag, you're saying that too. Because nobody came and officially changed the meaning of those colors and
of those colors
of that flag. No. So just understand that when you do that, that's an act of friendship towards African nationalists and sovereignty workers and liberation organizations all over the world. And I know a lot of y'all didn't know you was doing it. A whole bunch of preachers waving that red, black, and green and didn't know what they was waving.
Didn't know what it meant.
Yeah,
Baba, look, Baba. I mean, I'm sitting back just watching the foolery. I said they don't even know what they're doing. Don't have a clue.
Right.
Don't have a clue.
How dare you erase the largest mass movement of African people in the 20th century from history, from the mainstream narrative. You erase that, and you want to adopt the flag that those people fought, bled, and died over, that Marcus Garvey got deported over, that many Black people lost their homes behind, lost their jobs behind, lost their lives behind.
That's right.
That Black people were sending a nickel a month, a penny a month, $2 a month, investing in the Black Star Line, investing in the Negro World newspaper.
That's right.
That flag. You don't want to talk about them, but you want the flag.
And family, look, and family, for those of you who are coming in and probably like, what is he talking about? You know, the Negro World newspaper and the Black Star Line, all of these projects, they were under the UNIA. Okay. And UNIA is short for the United Negro Improvement Association, which was established by I said the Honorable Marcus Garvey. You said who, Baba?
I said Universal Negro.
Oh, Universal. What did I say? United. Universal. Yeah. Universal.
Person in the universe.
That's right. Universal. And so all of those different things, the Negro World newspaper, the Black Star Line. We even had nurses. Remember, it was the organization. I forgot the name of the nurses, but it was an organization of nurses. We had laundromats, restaurants, militias, hospitals. Okay. And so that is what this represents. Okay. RBG, when you're waving an RBG flag, we're talking about liberation, independence, liberation, freedom, and sovereignty. This is not us merging with the dominant society and trying to live comfortable under their dominance. That's not what this is about. And another thing, Baba, I saw Billy Porter wearing the RBG flags. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me pull it up, family. I should have probably had this ready. I'm not sure if you saw it, but Billy Porter, that was the first time that I saw the blasphemous usage of the RBG flag. He had it on. I think he was posing. Let me see. Red, black, and green flag. Red, black, and green flag. I'm going to show the family this. I was disturbed. Here it is. It was on the Essence magazine. Let me share my screen really quickly, family. Matter of fact, let me pull this over here and share my screen. Look at this, Baba. I mean, oh my goodness. When I saw this, I was utterly disturbed with him being draped in the the red, black, and green flag, and look at how he's wearing it. You know, look at how he's wearing it like a dress. Well, and then to know him, his lifestyle. He's married to a white guy. He talks about, he calls Black people racist, and then you're wearing our flag. This is blasphemous, Baba. I mean, and when I saw this, I was utterly disturbed.
And and it's a trip, because that iteration of the flag is what they call the African American flag, where they got the green field and they put the black stars in it and that sort of thing. But those are still the African liberation colors, the Black liberation color. And he's not a Black liberator. We don't have to get into his lifestyle.
Right. He's not right. He's just not a Black liberator.
If he had 10 wives, he still ain't no Black liberator.
That's a fact. That's a fact. He's not a liberator.
Institutions for Black people. He's not building institutions in our community. This is propaganda. This is fashion. This is hip to be, because of the Black Lives Matter and all. It's hip. Your publicists are calling Black people, Black artists, and saying, you need to make a statement. You know, their white publicists are telling them that, you know, you want to catch this wave. It's really hip to be pro-black right now. Catch this wave.
Catch this wave.
And black, you are the new Martin Luther King. And so that's what this is right here.
Absolutely. And when I said lifestyle, I just want to provide the people with clarity. I'm not talking about, you know, him being gay or him being, I'm talking about the fact that he's literally married to a white dude. You get what I'm saying? So you're talking about liberation and, you know, but then you're married to the colonizer, right? You know, and I'm saying, even if he was married to a white woman, you're talking about black liberation, you land with white supremacy. So that's what I was talking about.
The freedom he talking about is the freedom many of the Negroes and the black people, our people are talking about, is the freedom that's supposed to come with the red, white, and blue.
Yes. Build on that. Expound on that. Expound on that.
So when you start talking about freedom is being the first black to be an executive at Microsoft. Freedom is being the first black family in this neighborhood.
Tokenism.
Yeah. We no longer have to use the white water fountain. There's no color. We see no colors. It's one land, judged by the content of your character, not the color of your skin. That's the promise of the red, white, and blue. That's what y'all trying to turn and even though red, white, and blue has never been that, that's what you're trying to turn the red, white, and blue. The integration agenda is an American agenda. Okay, that's an agenda. It's a dissent agenda. It is a dissent, but it's an American agenda. And the colors for the integration agenda is already there: red, white, and blue. You want to integrate into the American system. Well, America has a flag. You don't get to change a flag when you're integrating, when you're assimilating. You don't get to change the flag. The flag is already there. That's what you want to be. That's what you're fighting against. These colors are this is a different definition of freedom. This is that freedom that means responsibility. This is that freedom that means sovereignty. This is that freedom that means Kuji Chagulia.
Teach.
Right? This is that freedom that means reparations and repair. Reparations from within and from without. This is a different type of freedom, which means global communication, global business, ownership, that type of freedom. So if you're not embracing that type of freedom, you really don't want to embrace that flag.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know, if this was a truth to power talk, I would be having bombs dropping right now. Boom, 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 boom. Bam, fire.
When the Black Olympians go to Tokyo, you know, and our press success for all of them, they're not gonna run out with the red, black, and green flag. They're gonna run around and they're gonna have the red, white, and blue flag draped around them. They're only going to be Americans. Okay. The last time there was a black expression at the Olympics was in 1968 when the brothers put up the black fist.
Come on, talk about it.
Distinction, because there is a distinction.
There's a distinction.
Let America off the hook when you don't get anything. You don't get anything that you need. You don't get nothing that you ask for, but then you let America represent you as if they do, as if you are getting those things. And that's not cool.
That's not cool. And check this out. So I was talking with a colleague of mine, Dr. Holly, and he called me up. He said, Doc, what are your thoughts about them making Juneteenth a federal holiday? And so I gave him my thoughts about that. And I said, well, look, brother, I've been celebrating literally for 20 years. You know, I've been celebrating for 20 plus years. And so I never needed the government to validate my holy days, our holy days, when we celebrate our heroes and sheroes, our historical events, we never needed that. I never sought the white power structures validation for anything, you know, not for that. And so he said, but you know, he said, I'm so offended. He said, what they did was really sinister when you think about it. So I said, come on, brother, go ahead and elaborate on your thoughts. He said, Doc, he said, so we'll give you Juneteenth, right? Mm-hmm. But Juneteenth, remember, we're celebrating emancipation, right? Being emancipated. He said, so they'll give you Juneteenth, but then they won't redress what they did to cause, right? So you're giving us the holiday, right? You're giving us this holiday and saying you're off. We're going to recognize the holiday, but we're not going to recognize and redress the cause for the holiday, which is chattel slavery. Right. So he said, it's very sick when you think about what they do. And I said, brother, you got to understand, Dr. Amos Wilson tells us this in Falsification of African Consciousness, that the UHURU operates this world based on confusion and contradiction,
Right.
So it is a huge contradiction that, hey, we will acknowledge this and we'll give you a holiday, but we won't, we'll give you a holiday and acknowledge your holiday, but we won't acknowledge why we have this holiday in the first place, and we won't redress what took place. So he said, Doc, that was kind of sinister. And I said, brother, but I didn't think about that. But I mean, I didn't think about it from that perspective. I mean, I did think about it from your perspective in the sense that you'll give us a holiday, but what about reparations? What about this voter suppression stuff that's happening? What about all this other stuff that's happening?
The irony goes even deeper, Doc, because when our people began celebrating Juneteenth in Texas, and shout out to my elder, Miss Opal Lee, who they're calling the grandmother of Juneteenth. But I'm telling you something, Miss Opal Lee been somebody who's been working on behalf of Black people in Fort Worth, talking about from the guttermost to the othermost my whole life, right? She's one of my examples, and she lobbied. She's 94 years old and actually lobbied for this to become a national holiday. And I applaud and I respect her efforts, right? But what we have to do is call out the government for suppressing the story and seeking to control the narrative on what Juneteenth is. The irony is that when we celebrated Juneteenth in Texas, it was not just a celebration of emancipation. It was a celebration of what we were doing with that emancipation. It was a call to arms. Those people communities, in Texas, Black people in Texas went on to build over 50 independent Black communities between 1866 and 1920.
Teach.
So every year, having Juneteenth, part of the tradition was buying a park or buying a plot of land to have the celebration. How ironic that the system, because it's been proven that the United States government, particularly the Department of Agriculture, systemically took land from Black people from between 1920 and now, right?
Absolutely.
20 million acres down to less than 3 million acres of land. So the irony that Juneteenth is a federal holiday that was really a celebration about what we do with freedom, not having freedom. What we
do with it.
And you make it a federal holiday when you were the main force against those efforts of us exercising our freedom.
Sinister.
And that's the irony for me. And so now we control the narrative, and you say, well, it's about emancipation. Texas Blacks got it late. Well, now you're still giving all the credit to Abraham Lincoln.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
About white people. Juneteenth, I mean, look what it's called, Juneteenth. White folks ain't gonna name nothing Juneteenth. Juneteenth is by us, for us, and it was about us. We commemorated the emancipation partially because you got to look patriotic to keep the Klan off your back. We in Texas.
Oh, tell the story, because you were right there on the ground. So this is
But when we get there, it's all about us. When you get to the celebration, it's about family reunion. People say it's just one big family reunion. But don't you know that the biggest number one item on the list when we were emancipated was finding family?
That's right. Talk about it.
Number one item on the list.
Talk about it. They said that.
Well, of course, we're going to see each other and celebrate, because when we first started celebrating, we hadn't seen each other. Some never, some since they were babies. Some have created new families because they lost their old one. Their biological family. That wasn't a joke. That wasn't nothing to play with. That wasn't cooning. That wasn't clowning. That was Black power.
That's right.
That was Black people defying the odds. You were property in 1863. You own property in 1865. What? You own property in 1910. You remember being property. Now you own property, and you're celebrating it in Texas, surrounded by the Confederacy.
Teach. And
so give them Black people their props, and we have to tell their story, and that story is being wiped out.
It's being wiped out.
We need those examples right now today. We need them.
I agree. And so, Baba, I mean, one thing that disturbed me was that you had a lot of Black folks saying things like, I didn't know. I didn't know. And I'm talking about literally, my mother will tell you, I go to her church. She's an ordained minister. I go down there. I live stream the services for her every Sunday. When I was down there, I was having a dialogue with one of the trustees. I won't call his name, but he said, I went to the Juneteenth festival in Annapolis and I didn't know anything about Juneteenth. Right. And I said, brother, that's sad, brother. I said, that's sad. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of us that just didn't know. And I said, well, yeah. I said, why didn't we know, brother? Just trying to pick his brain. We didn't know because they didn't teach us. They didn't teach us. And I said, did you hear our people, Baba? I mean, we don't know. We don't know, or we haven't. We don't know, right? We lack knowledge of self, and then we blame them. Do I blame them partially? Of course. Did they strip us from knowledge of self? Of course. Did they do? Yes. Yeah. But it comes time where we have to say, well, wait a minute. When did that history get lost? Because it's not another group of people to teach us our history. It is our responsibility to teach our babies, to teach ourselves and our babies our history. So you can't wait on white folks and Hispanic folks and other folks to teach us that history. So you can't do that. Not right now. Not, like I said, not in this moment, not in this time. And so I found it quite disturbing that you had our people say, well, I didn't know because I didn't learn it in school and I didn't, and I didn't. That's we gotta figure out where we dropped the ball and where the history, because it is up to us to keep that history in the family. Right. Our baby should know the history. You don't say, well, my child don't know the history because the school system isn't teaching it to them. Well, if the school isn't teaching it to them, then we teach it to them.
Well, you know what? This is a great example of the compromise that was made by the Black community in exchange for inclusion. We gave up any story, any narrative that promotes economic independence.
Come on.
Any narrative that promotes land ownership, any narrative that promotes violence resistance. We gave up all of that in exchange for inclusion. Anything that we felt might upset white people, we gave it up in exchange for inclusion. There's a whole lot of Black people you got to go through before you get to that white man you're trying to blame for not teaching you.
Come on, talk about it, Baba.
There was always an opposing viewpoint within the Black community. There was always that Negro, even on the plantation, it was that Negro who said, we can't just burn down these crops. Not only the master gonna find out, but Jesus gonna get you too. It's always that Negro who said, no, we just got to be patient and wait on the Lord. Well, to wait on the Lord, people don't want you learning certain things. They recognize if we tell these Negroes about Marcus Garvey, they ain't gonna wait on the Lord. If we tell these Negroes that they can own land, they not gonna wait on the Lord.
Teach.
Now, give me a grant, pay me, and I'll make sure that these Negroes will continue to just wait on the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And so we still have that today. That brother was just a victim of an education that was teaching him to wait on the Lord.
Wait on the Lord. That's so right.
He didn't learn about Juneteenth. So we basically handed our children over to a racist school system and called it progress. At least when you had Black segregated schools, you had Black teachers in those schools who can come up to you and say, you know, we really come from kings and queens, don't we?
Come on.
This for the test, but this is what it really is. Well, we gave that up and said, well, now we're going to shut the Black schools down. We're going to send you to the white schools, and we call it progress. And anybody who doesn't call it progress, you're now a reverse racist because you're not waiting on the Lord. You're getting all upset. And so, yeah, that's our responsibility. I'm working on a book right now that we call the Integration Report Card. Right, because it's been 60 years. It's time for a report card.
Come on, Baba.
You should get one every 6 weeks at school. Well, it's been 60 years. So now let's go look at the hard data, the facts. Let's look at this integration agenda as it was imposed, and let's see if we're better off today than we were yesterday.
Well, you know what I think, Bob. I think you already know what I think.
I already know what you think. And the fact that you didn't know what Juneteenth was, that's a mark. That's a mark
right there.
Right there. You know.
I want to shout out King Hercules. Happy birthday, King Hercules. He said, it's my birthday and I'm enjoying this. Thank you, Dr. Maat. Happy birthday to you, King.
I just celebrated my birthday on the 18th. So.
On the 18th. Okay, 4 days ago. Happy belated birthday, Baba Amin, and happy birthday to you, King Hercules. Ashe. But yes, like you said, we've been, waiting on Jesus translates to waiting on white people. Let's have that. Let's have that conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it translates to let's wait on white folks.
Wait on white folks.
It's not what would Jesus do, it's what would white people do.
Right. And Jesus, even in the Bible, Jesus is an initiator. He initiated things, right? You don't wait, you initiate. You know what I'm saying? But we give a wait. We've been given an education that teaches us that, slavery is over. Civil rights, we won. Now everything that happened after that is on you.
Yes. They say they push in the narrative that we live in a post-racial society now. It's a colorblind society. Right. That's the narrative that they run with.
And I'm sure there are spaces that you can get into where you feel that energy, where that energy is there. But you still have to look at the mass condition of African people in America. Not beyond systemic racism. We still are dealing with psychological effects of not just slavery, but Jim Crow, the mass assassination of our leaders, generational poverty, miseducation.
Come on.
Deal with those things. If you're serious about justice, okay? Justice is not a law. It's not just writing a law. It's about building institutions that empower people to restore themselves to their greatest potential. Anything less than that is not justice.
That's a fact. Family, share this build. I am building with Baba Amin. I said that this wouldn't be a Truth to Power talk, even though I'm going to bring Baba back on to have a Truth to Power talk. But I called Baba up because I was excited. Not excited. I was upset about the blasphemous, just observing, I call it the blasphemous use of the RBG colors. And so I said, Baba, we need to have a public build. And he said, I'm coming up.
Colors, man, rock them harder. All right. We have to rock them harder. We're not walking away from the red, black, and green. They're not going to frustrate us out of representing the red, black, and green. They just made us go harder. That's all. And that's what we need to do. We need to get out here and mass educate our people. When Black August come up, everybody put your RBG flag and hang it outside on the front porch. You know what I'm saying? Put it out there now. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's out there on the 4th of July. Put it out there, but put it out there knowing what it represents. Make sure our children know what it represents. That's on you. That's on us. That's our responsibility. All right. That belongs to Black people. And it's our responsibility to maintain and defend the definition and what it symbolizes.
And what it symbolizes. Absolutely. Baba, tell them what the colors stand for. It might be some folks in here.
Okay. So you have the red, black, and green, right? And so the red stands for the blood of our people, or the sacrifice that our ancestors have made for us to be here. And we talk about sacrifice, not just talking about enslavement. I guess you don't start with slavery, y'all.
Come on.
Sacrifices that the first human beings on the planet made in order for humanity to even be here, all right? The red is for the sacrifice, the blood of our people. The black is for the people. All right, that represents us, not just because we Black people are black skinned, but you got to realize that black is not a color. Black is the source of our color. We're the source of our people. So that's right. Black represents our people. All right. And the green represents the land, which we are connected to. You are not a people if you don't have a land.
That's right.
Every people should be connected to a land base. Right. And so the green represents that land, that foundation, that earth where your food come from, your clothes come from, your shelter come from. So the red, black, and green is letting us know that as African people, we are free when we recognize the sacrifice of our ancestors, when we embrace and are proud of who we are as a people, and when we have land under our feet where we can express that love and express that culture openly and sovereign. That's what the red, black, and green stand for.
I'm up here looking for, and thank you so much, Baba, for that breakdown. I'm looking for and I may have to read the lyrics. So I want the people to know that the red, black, and green flag was created as a response to a song that was out called The Coon. You know where I'm going.
Flag except the coon.
Everybody got a flag except the coon. So look, I'm looking for yes. It was called the Coon Song, family. I'm looking for the lyrics. Oh man, I just Googled it. It says, yep, the Coon Coon Coon, 1901, insert of a minstrel show. See, they used to do this stuff. Everybody, yeah, they used to do this stuff. Hold on, let me share my screen with you all.
The most popular form of entertainment in America at that time was white people imitating poor black people.
Absolutely. Here it is. So it says right here, the flag was created in 1920 by members of the UNIA in response to the Coon song, a late 19th century craze for songs that belittle and mock African Americans and imitated imitated of stereotype AAVE speech that came a hit around 1900. Every race has a flag but a coon. Yes, so it says this song has been cited as one of the 3 songs that firmly established the term coon in the American vocabulary. So this was a response to that.
Right.
All right. This was a response to that. So I wanted people to know where this came from.
Right.
All right.
So we actually play that song. We play that song for our students at the UHURU Academy when we learn about the flag, you know, and we play that song and study that song, and we talk about popular culture and the impact that it has, that it's always had on the culture at large. You know what I'm saying? And in the song, he talks about all the immigrants that come to America have a flag that they came from. He talks about the Orientals have a flag, the Italians have a flag, and they even give the nickname of their flag. And then he comes into the hood like every race got a flag except the Coon. And he talks about black people saying we don't have a flag. Well, Marcus Garvey and them said, yeah, now we do. Now we have a flag. We have a universal flag.
That's right. Ashe, hold on. You gave me an idea. So let's do that. Let's play it.
Yeah.
Let's play it so the family can. So the family can.
Y'all, where you came from, you didn't do flags. You did crowns. You did stools. You did shields.
That's right. We didn't have flags.
No, we made our flags out of gold.
Here we go. Let's play it. Let's play it for them. Here we go. Every race has a flag but a coon. Let's listen, family.
Ashamed, I wished I could turn white, cause all the white folks marched with banners gay. Just at the stand, the German band, they waved their flag and played to walk them line. The Scotch Brigade, each man arrayed in new black dresses, marched to Old Lang Syne. Even Spaniards and Swedes, folks of all kinds and creeds, had their banner except the Coon alone. Every nation can brag about some kind of a flag. Why can't we get an emblem of our own? For Ireland has her harp and shamrock. England floats an iron mold. Even China waves a dragon. Germany an eagle goes. Bonnie Scotland loves her this song. Turkey has her crescent moon. And what will Yankees do for the old white and blue? Every race has a flag but the coon. He says now I suggest a flag that ought to win a prize. Just take a flannel shirt and paint it red. Then draw a chicken on it with 2 polka dots for eyes, and have it waving razors round its head. To make it quaint, you've got to paint a possum with a pork chop in his teeth. To give it tone, a big ham bone. You sketch upon a banjo underneath. for 1144. Then admiration Dutch, they can't guide us so much. We should have had this emblem long before. Ireland has her heart and shamrock. England floats her iron ore. Even China waves a triumph. Germany legal gold. Bonnie's got the loves of this song. Turkey has her crescent moon. And what will Yankees do for the open, white, and blue? Every race has a flag of the coup.
They never had any musical abilities. Their music sucked back then. People in the chat room like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Baba. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I never actually heard it, but when you're on mute too, Baba, but I never actually heard, you can unmute yourself. I don't know if there's something going on. Yep, but I never heard the song. I just knew that the UNIA created the flag as a response, to the Coon song and in the, the song. And so when you said, well, I play it for my students, I said, well, wait a minute, let's play it live on air.
Right.
Like you said, this is one of many examples of how they made fun of us in pop culture. Like this was a mainstream song. It wasn't like this was a song that they sung in the field somewhere.
No,
this was a hit song where they're mocking African Americans.
Yes, and it's in the cruelty behind it. It's not just one group of people making fun of another. This is a group of people making fun of a tortured people, of people who have been enslaved, of people who have been colonized, of people who have been kidnapped, and they know this. You know what I'm saying? Like the cruelty of it. It is amazing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, in true African fashion, right? He did it right in the midst of the new Negro movement, and people like Garvey and others, like, you know what? Okay, keep that same energy. Watch this. Keep that same. Watch this. Watch.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Keep that same energy. And there was a response to it, and it was a wave that was coming, sparked by people like J.A. Rogers and Arturo Schomburg and others, Drusilla Dungeon, Houston. There was a wave of consciousness coming that white people were afraid of and wanted to stop. And this is one of those efforts. They ain't stopped nothing.
Didn't stop a thing.
They ain't stop a thing. Because we know what the red, black, and green is, but we don't know what that song is. It outlived that song.
Absolutely. We're like, and a lot of people in the chat, they're like, wow, like they didn't know, like you said, didn't have a clue.
Right.
Didn't have a clue what that song was.
Right. Didn't have a clue. But that was popular music of that day. I mean, the first blockbuster movie was Birth of a Nation. I tell my children all the time in the movies, the first Avengers was the Ku Klux Klan. They were the first Avengers.
Yep.
That was Avengers Part 1, is Birth of a Nation, when they came and they avenged the white South from the scourge of Black freedom. That movie ran in theaters for almost 40 years, and it was a brother named Oscar Micheaux who did a movie called Within Our Gates that was a response to that movie. Our people was clapping back.
Oh, see, I didn't know about that. You teaching me, Baba. I mean, so what was the brother's name again?
Oscar Micheaux.
Oscar Micheaux. Yeah, I heard of him. Yes. I heard of him, but I didn't know he created a movie in response to Birth of a Nation.
Oscar Micheaux did over, if I'm not mistaken, did over 40 films, independent films. Yeah. And he's the most prolific filmmaker in the history of Hollywood, especially in early Hollywood. No one made, well, he wasn't in Hollywood.
Right, he wasn't. He was independent.
Than Oscar Micheaux.
And see, I heard about him because I think someone was doing like a documentary on Spike Lee, and they were saying that he would be, a predecessor of Spike Lee. And that was the first time I've heard of that brother.
Right. And Oscar Micheaux did a movie called Within Our Gates that was a response. In his movies, he projected Black people as fighting for freedom and fighting for education, and even had a lynching scene in his movie at the end. And it showed the evil of lynching. And that was in direct response to D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation.
Who didn't have any other hits and died miserable. Oscar Micheaux's career destroyed his career. You know what I'm saying? So he got ether. Oscar Micheaux ether.
He said ether them. And like you said, our people were clapping back. And look, I always gotta shout out to Ida B. Wells and her work. They were clapping back, Baba. I mean,
they were clapping back, man. And we gotta teach the clap back. We can't just teach what they did to us. We have to teach the clap back.
That's right.
And so Oscar Micheaux did that within our gates. Y'all check him out, look him up. Of course, Marcus Garvey, Red, Black, and Green. All of these are symbols of our freedom, not just resistance, but symbols of what we're gonna do with our freedom. Oscar Micheaux paid for everything. He was a landowner in Wyoming. Like, matter of fact, where Kanye West owns his land now, that's where Oscar Micheaux was a homesteader out there. Right?
Wow.
And he sold his land to start his film company. You know, in his films, it always had a theme where he fought against racism, and he also always had a theme against jack-legged preachers because he didn't like crooked black preachers. You know what I'm saying? So he went hard in his movies, man. And he went hard in them. So yeah, man. We ain't never laid down. We ain't never laid down and rolled over. You know. Yeah, man. Come on, y'all. That flag ain't nothing to play with.
That's right. And it's
nothing to play with.
And Bobby, is sacred. We should know that's one of our sacred symbols. Yes, and you just don't let the white folks do what they want to do, or hell, even black folks, because I was disturbed, and I'm gonna say this on air, when I saw a video clip circulating on social media of brothers and sisters in Malcolm X Park in Philadelphia having a twerk party. You know, and so Baba, I mean, you know, when I looked at it, I have to admit, I laughed when I looked at it. I gotta be honest. Right. I looked at it and I think it was the caption, because someone, you know, under the caption, it was like, where is this at? Who is, you know, what city is this, or something like that. Right. And then I found out that it was in Philadelphia at Malcolm X, at the Malcolm X Park in Philadelphia. I said, are you kidding me? We have to stop, Baba. I mean, I saw flyers that were circulated, you know, Bernice King, the daughter of MLK, Dr. Martin Luther King. She came out a few years ago because there were flyers that were being circulated around Atlanta of Dr. King with a gold chain on and a stripper with a pole. But come on, we gotta, Baba, we gotta do better with protecting, you know, our symbols and the image of our heroes and sheroes, and out the names, their legacy, their image, their symbols. Because you know, and I'm even looking at how, and check this out. This is another bill that I'm gonna have soon, and maybe you may want to be a part of this. I don't want to spoil it. All I'm gonna say is that they're still mocking us in mainstream media.
Oh, absolutely.
Calling us hoteppers, that black conscience, and it's black people doing this.
Yes, absolutely. Let me bring up this. What we don't understand is what a lot of those of us who are in the movement don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Is that is a very deliberate attempt to keep us watered down. That's a very deliberate attempt to get people to stop asking Baba Amin, what you talking about? Or coming to your videos and saying what they talking about over there. Oh no, they woke, stay away from that. It's just like on the plantation when we was talking about freedom in the bushes. Somebody always came to say, oh no, what they talking about? They're gonna be in a whole heap of trouble. I can't be in that conversation, right? And so you put a negative connotation on it, and it drives people away. You know, are there people inside the conscious community that are thrown off? Absolutely. What community don't have thrown off people? Or
exactly.
But when you paint it with that broad brush, what all you're doing is preventing someone who was curious about learning more and getting involved in their story, getting involved in the community. You encourage them not to do it. It's not hip. It's not cool. So I'm not going to do it.
That's right. And Bob, I want to show you this. I'm not sure if you saw this. I was disturbed. Did you see this? Oh yeah, this sister, they're mocking. You see how she has the head wrap on. Listen to how she speaks. Right. Listen to this, Baba. Listen to this.
Welcome to Black Table Talk, the only place on Tariq Nasheed's internet where we can have an honest conversation. Today's topic.
Now you saw how that was a quick dig at Tariq Nasheed, right? And you see how she's loud and she got the head wrap on and what? Listen to this, Baba. Watch this.
Women in the workplace. What? I'm I'm your host, Dr. Hadassah Oliyinka Ali Youngman, pre-PhD.
Now she's making fun of African names. This is still, but you see how it's one of us. This isn't white folks on here. This is one of us. So now she's making fun of African sounding names.
And I'm about to take you on the overground.
How long is this intro? I do not mean to rush you, Queen Hadassah, but Kavya has me on curfew.
See. No, Gabrielle Union. Black women babies are not allowed to issue curfews. Only our original kings can do that. Supreme Rob Meek told me to be home by 3.
Is he here? Can he sign?
Oh, so now it's all about the patriarchy now, huh?
You hear that? You hear that? I said, oh, so yeah.
I can't tell you everything what to do and stuff. Okay. Yeah, this is a mockery.
It's a mockery.
Yo.
He does not fraternize with married women, except for me and all 8 of his wives.
Oh, that's very Doug Christie of you guys.
Anyway, welcome to the show. It says here now that you're an actress, an author, a television host, a fashion designer, and a spokeswoman.
Thank you.
Why so many jobs, and how does your husband deal with this betrayal?
Betrayal? I think my husband appreciates a woman. Oh.
So conscious and African-centered men are patriarchal and controlling and don't allow women to work and to grow and to.
And of course, none of those things exist in mainstream society. of course, when you're not woke, you have a different type of freedom. And you know, of course, none of that exists.
None of that exists.
Yeah, that's not real. Patriarchy, toxic masculinity, that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist
in the pro-black world. And,
only in the pro-black world.
Yeah. So don't be pro-black. Don't be. Yeah. It's and I'm cool with humor. I love humor. You know.
Same here.
I can laugh at this. I can laugh at this, but you can't ignore the context.
There we go. You
can't ignore that. You can't ignore who's on the show and some of the political agendas that person pushes that's on the show, right? So you can't ignore the context. You can't ignore the institution that puts it on, right? Because while there's black people doing it, they're not holding the puppet strings.
Not at all. Not at all.
They're not holding puppet strings. You know what I'm saying? And what happens sometimes, you'll see some black entertainers try to sneak some of the positive in while they're clowning us. I don't know if that happens here, but up to that point, it was pretty much just clowning. Being a hotel or being woke. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the context matters. When we make fun of ourselves, it's all good. But that, even though there's black faces, that's not us making fun of us. That's them. That's
we're being used. We're being used. But we got to stop being used, Baba. I mean, we got to stop being used. Yeah. And then it was another one. I'm sitting here thinking, remember the slave play on Broadway that came out a few years ago? It showed a black woman twerking on a white boy who was acting like an overseer.
Oh, I don't think I recall that one.
Oh, Baba, hold on. Let me just type this in.
Right.
This is the slave play. And let me share my screen again.
And one of our in the chat, Tiarka's right. We're not monolithic. We're not a monolith, y'all. And red, black, and green don't mean we all think the same way. But that particular flag was created for a particular reason. And in giving those particular colors, the symbols for a particular reason. And we can't ignore that. We can't ignore that.
Oh, it's not this one. But it was one where they had the sister. She was twerking. Here it is. There it is. There it is. And so when I started researching the slave play, it was created by one of us. It was a brother, and it was about 3 couples. One was a gay couple. Then you had like 2 interracial couples, and they went to this therapy session, and they used they had some issues, I guess, in the bedroom, and so they went to this like sex therapy session where they had to act out this stuff, I guess, to help it. And I read that the objective was that the Black people in these interracial relationships, whether it's homosexual or heterosexual, they wanted their partner to see them, from what I've read about it. But these are the images that they showed us. You see the image of the sister twerking in front of the the overseer. And so again, I just feel like this is really an insult to our ancestors and all that they fought for, and all that they sacrificed.
Especially when the murder and the rape has not been redressed. There's no reparations. There's no, you know what I'm saying? You're not teaching it. The context matters. And now you put this crap up here on stage, and you call it art or whatever you want to call it, but there's a context. I guess I could do a play. Go ahead and do a play where the symbolism is about being accepted, and your example is going to be a Jew moonwalking into the oven in front of some Germans, and see what kind of response you get from their community. You don't use. I don't think you use our enslavement. Use the ma'afa, as a symbolic gesture or a symbolic artistic expression. At least I don't feel like we should do that. You know what I'm saying? There were too many Black women who were raped, Black men who were raped on slave plantations for that to be funny. But I mean, again, when you haven't studied the history, maybe it won't have the same kind of sting. But, again, that has a lot to do with controlling the narrative and how they fight this whole critical race theory and all, because they know that it's in the details, y'all. It's in the details. When you get into the details of a narrative and you get into start wondering how these people felt, what they experienced, then you start looking at the world through the eyes of those who experienced it, your perspective changes.
Absolutely.
You express yourself changes. Like when you mentioned them twerking in Philadelphia with the RBG flag, I ain't got no problem with twerking or African dance or whatever, but
they had the strip poles out there. The women were sliding on the poles. They were throwing money at them. Yes. Like I don't want to play the clip. I don't want to play the clip.
That's crazy. But the thing is, you don't know what you're dancing in front of. You have no idea. You don't have the story. You don't understand what that is. That flag is yours, but you don't know what you got. If I give you an inheritance, but you don't understand the value of that inheritance, you're going to blow the inheritance. You're going to blow it.
That's right.
Period. And so we've inherited the red, black, and green, but because we don't understand what it represents, right, we're blowing it.
Beautiful analogy. Well, Baba, let's wrap up. I see your request, brother. Shango 67. He put it in here a couple of times. He said, Dr. Maat, can you play Gil Scott Heron's liberation song, Red, Black, and Green?
I say.
Yeah, let me go out. We'll go out like that. Hold on. Because he asked me for that. And you said it's really what?
This has been fun.
Oh, yes. Baba, you got to come back.
Oh, anytime.
You got to come back. So we're going to coordinate something. Something in, here we go. Let me pull it up. Something in August where you come out and we have another build. So family, thank you so much for joining this quick build with my brother, Baba Amin. Thank you, Baba, for coming on. It's always a pleasure. I read your posts when you and I dialogue in the inbox. We're always like on the same wave. Right. Then we may get out of touch with each other for a few months, but then we come right back around.
Like when you yesterday.
Yes, right. When you get to Baltimore, brother, are you here yet?
Oh, I'm here. I'm like we're in some small town outside of Baltimore. What is it called, baby? Upper Marlboro.
Oh, so you're 45 minutes away from where I am.
I'm 45 minutes away, so I'm here all week.
Okay, and I'm leaving out of town Friday, but between now and Friday, I had to get up with you and your beautiful queen. Maybe we could shoot and get a bite to eat somewhere.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll get a bite to eat somewhere and then hang out for a little bit. So we'll coordinate something.
Tubman City.
What you say?
Teach me something about Tubman City.
I could bring you to Tubman City. So if you all want me to come up there, it'll be 45 minutes. Okay. 45-minute drive up there. Or if you all want to come to Tubman City, it's some really nice places. I could take you and your queen too. Yeah, we could
She's in the background right now talking about yes.
She like, yes, let's roll. Let's roll. Shoot, have you ever been to Everyone's Place?
No, this is my first.
Oh, I would.
This is our first time. Yeah.
Oh, I would take you all around to different Black-owned businesses, introduce you to, the elders in the community, take you over to the Temple of New African Thought with Minister Asar and them.
Yeah.
So we got it. Yeah. You want to see some stuff.
So carve out some time for us, Doc.
Hey, will do. Peace and love. We're going to go out, family, with this song. This is your request, Brother Shango. Gil Scott Hernan's song, Liberation. All right, here we go, family.